So for me, I'm relaunching one of my courses that is about running masterminds. So for people to do that, they need to know, what is a mastermind? Why do I want to join one? Why are most masterminds not very good? And what's it like being in a mastermind? So I've begun to create specialist shows about that. Interesting for the listener, but very helpful for me. One of them, for instance, is I'm doing a panel show, my first panel show for the BizBook broadcast. And I'm bringing in a bunch of my favorite masterminders to talk about what it's like to be in a mastermind and how it works and why it's different. So an interesting set of voices. We can all use snippets of it for social media, which is helpful. Because they all run masterminds as well, because they have drunk the mastermind Kool-Aid very much. So that's helpful. But I'm also building core information that, as you said, at conferences, if people go, but my mastermind was awful, why was that? I will have an episode I can send them to. So I'm building the building blocks. Instead of it just being in a launch funnel, it's there all the time. Plus, I'm interviewing people who are becoming increasingly interested in every time I see you, Liz, you talk about these masterminds. So that's level 2 stuff. I'm like, yes, you should join one. You should run one. Classic level 2 stuff. And then I'm building the educational stuff in level 3. And I can see from my listeners and from the questions I'm getting in my own inbox that this stuff that I normally only really kept on a few blogs or during a launch, because it's out there all the time. You know what podcast listeners are like. We binge when we find something we're interested in. So they have literally got us inside their head. In my case, going, masterminds are wonderful. You should have a mastermind. So I know my launch is going to go well. And then I know that some of the people that are in that launch will also become masterminders. And some of the people might be guests from the show who I've got to know over interviewing them 2 or 3 times, because that was also part of my design, is that I don't interview people just once. They're on 2 or 3 times. So I get to see them regularly.
I like that. You know, I had a friend who did something similar to that. This guy, he had a daily show, the longest running real estate daily show in the world. I don't know how many episodes he has now, but it might be 2,500 or something like that. He's been going every single day for, 9 years or something like that. And he does his Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday episodes are always somebody coming in for the very first time. That's he's like on Monday through Thursday, he does a 7-day a week, as I mentioned, but Monday through Thursday, you're here on my show for the first time you've ever been on my show. And he asked them the same type of questions. Then on Friday, it's different. He calls it Follow Along Friday. And what he does there is he tells people what's going on in his own business. And I think that allows his avatar or his listener to resonate with him, to understand what he does. How could I work with you? And so it kind of brings that person in and says, you know what? Maybe I should just work with him or something. And then on Saturday and Sunday, he has these other type of episodes where, like you just mentioned, Liz, when you want somebody to come on your show, you want them to come on multiple times, 2, 3 times. So he'll bring on the guests that he likes and work with him and have some information. He'll bring him on another time to do, I don't remember what he calls the Saturday and Sunday episodes, but they basically go into second level and third level type things, like what's a bad situation that you got out of, or what is a really cool thing that you're doing with your business, like giving back or whatever. And by doing this, he brings those people back a couple of times, and he kind of selects the people out of the 4 that he's already new people that he's having these conversations with every single week. He's determining, oh, you know what? I could have that person back. I could have that person talk about this thing. and maybe I could work with them, and maybe they would add more value to my listener, or maybe they would help me get more sponsors on my show, or maybe they could be a sponsor for the show. So he does it strategically. And you're the first person besides him that I've heard have that type of conversation. Like, I do this like this. I have them on the show purposely more than once. And I thought that was interesting. And I think it's all not just interesting, but also something that our listener today, who's a podcaster, could implement, especially if they're doing in that level 2, where they're having these conversations with somebody. As you mentioned before, you said you could work with them, or they could be an affiliate or a friend or a partner or whatever. So if they are somebody who could be an affiliate, and you continue to have that face-to-face time with that person, they're more likely to trust you and think of you when, for example, you help people grow mastermind groups. And so if that person comes on 2 or 3 times to your show, and somebody's like, I really want to have a mastermind, then it's obvious they're going to think, oh, you know what? You need to talk to my friend, Liz Scully. You gotta talk to her. I've had multiple conversations with her. I now trust her because of the multiple interactions, and she's the one person I can think of in this space. And I'm hoping that the listeners getting that concept as well and saying, wow, that could be a thing.